Alright, picture this. 16th century, Europe's getting crowded, and everyone's suddenly obsessed with finding new stuff. Enter the French, sailing into the scene like they own the place. Spoiler, they kinda wanted to. These weren't your average, let's chill on the beach explorers though. They were on a mission, find gold, claim land, and maybe snag some cool souvenirs along the way. Think less Caribbean vacation and more Indiana Jones, but with better hats. First up, we've got Giovanni da Verrazzano, basically the OG Italian stallion of the Atlantic. He rocked up in 1524, checked out the East Coast and was like, yep, this looks promising. Then came Jacques Cartier in 1534, the guy who basically said bonjour to Canada. He sailed up the St. Lawrence River, saw some beavers and thought, sweet potential hats. Little did they know they were about to trade beaver pelts for a whole lot more. These early voyages were like the opening act, setting the stage for the main show. France planting its flag in North America. They weren't just here for the beaver hats, though those were a definite perk. They were playing the long game, aiming to establish a French empire that could rival their European rivals. And let's be real, who wouldn't want a piece of the New World pie? Fast forward a few decades and France was ready to turn those explorer dreams into colonial reality. Enter Samuel de Champlain, basically the Beyoncé of New France. He woke up like this. In 1608 he founded Quebec City, a strategic location that basically screamed, "We're here to stay." Think of it like the cool kids table in the high school cafeteria of colonial America. But settling in the New World wasn't all sunshine and maple syrup. The winters were brutal, the Native Americans weren't always thrilled to share, and the fashion choices were questionable. Looking at you, pointy hats. Plus, imagine trying to build a life in a place where even the trees wanted to kill you. We're looking at you, mosquitoes. Despite the challenges, the French persevered. They built forts, established trade networks, hello, fur trade, and even started families. These early colonists were tough cookies, braving harsh conditions and even harsher fashion trends to create a little slice of France in the heart of North America. They laid the groundwork for a French presence that would last for centuries, even if it meant occasionally rocking a questionable hat. Now, let's sashay down south to the land of Mardi Gras, gumbo and alligators wearing tiny hats. Okay, maybe not that last part. New Orleans, established in 1718, was like the funky little sister of Quebec. Founded near the mouth of the mighty Mississippi River, it quickly became a melting pot of cultures and a hub for trade, even if it was prone to the occasional flood and mosquito infestation. It wasn't all just jazz and beignets down in New Orleans. This strategic port city was crucial for controlling the Mississippi River, which was basically like the I-95 of its time. It connected the French territories in the north to the Gulf of Mexico, making it a prime target for anyone looking to mess with France's colonial game. New Orleans became a wild mix of French, Spanish, African and Caribbean influences, making it one of the most unique and lively cities in North America. It was a place where you could sip café au lait in the morning, haggle for furs in the afternoon, and dance the night away to the sounds of emerging jazz, all while trying to avoid stepping on an alligator. Basically, New Orleans was the place to be if you were looking for a good time, and weren't afraid of a little humidity. Section 4. Trading beads and skirmishes, French relations with Native Americans. Let's be real. No discussion about colonization is complete without talking about the elephant in the room. Or should we say, the moose in the forest. French interactions with Native Americans were complicated, to say the least. It was a mixed bag of trade partnerships, tense alliances, and the occasional misunderstanding that probably could have been avoided with better translators. The French, unlike some other European counterparts, actually tried to play nice. Sometimes. They engaged in extensive fur trading with tribes like the Huron and Algonquin, exchanging fancy European goods for those luxurious beaver pelts. They even learned indigenous languages and customs, which was more than those other guys were doing. However, let's not pretend everything was peachy. The French also formed military alliances with certain tribes to fight other tribes. Awkward. This led to them getting caught in the middle of existing rivalries, which is like trying to break up a fight between two angry raccoons. Messy, and likely to end in someone getting scratched. Plus the whole claiming land that wasn't theirs thing, yeah, that didn't exactly win them any popularity contests with the original inhabitants. Section 5. The Brits want in epic battles for a continent. Okay, back to the drama. Remember those British colonists hanging out on the East Coast, sipping tea and judging everyone's fashion choices? Well, they were getting a little jealous of France's prime real estate and fur trading game. Cue the dramatic music, because things were about to get real, and by real, we mean full-on war. The French and British spent decades playing a high-stakes game of capture the fort across North America. It was basically the colonial version of a game of Risk, but with muskets and a lot more at stake than bragging rights. There were epic battles, cunning strategies, and probably a whole lot of complaining about the mosquitoes. The French and Indian War, which, let's be honest, is a terrible name because it pits Native Americans against each other, was the grand finale of this colonial showdown. From 1754 to 1763, they duked it out for control of North America, and spoiler alert, France did not win this round. The Treaty of Paris in 1763 officially marked the end of France's reign as a major colonial power in North America. Section 6. That time Napoleon needed cash, the Louisiana Purchase. So, France lost its North American territories. You'd think that would be the end of the story, right? Not quite. Just when you thought you could put away the history books, Napoleon swoops in with a plot twist worthy of a daytime soap opera. Turns out even emperors need some quick cash every now and then. Napoleon, being the ambitious and slightly broke emperor he was, needed to fund his European conquests. So in 1803 he sold the Louisiana Territory to the United States for a cool $15 million. That's right, he basically pawned off a huge chunk of North America for what amounts to a rounding error in today's economy. This deal, known as the Louisiana Purchase, doubled the size of the United States overnight. It was like finding a $100 bill on the ground, except the $100 bill was actually 828,000 square miles of land. The Louisiana Purchase was a steal of a deal for the United States, and it dramatically reshaped the map of North America, making way for westward expansion and the eventual rise of, well, you know, the United States as we know it. Section 7. Baguettes and beignets, the enduring French touch. Even though France waved au revoir to its North American empire, its legacy lives on in more ways than just place names on a map. From the streets of Quebec City to the vibrant melting pot of New Orleans, the French influence is still very much alive and kicking, and eating croissants. In Quebec, French language and culture remain strong, with locals proudly preserving their heritage through food, festivals, and a certain joie de vivre that you won't find anywhere else. And let's not forget the architecture, those charming European-style buildings in Quebec City and Montreal. Total hard eyes emoji. Down south, New Orleans still pulses with a unique blend of French, African, and Caribbean influences. From the spicy flavors of Cajun and Creole cuisine, to the joyous chaos of Mardi Gras, the French spirit is alive and well in the Big Easy. And let's be real, who doesn't love a good beignet? So while the French colonial empire in North America may be a thing of the past, its impact can still be felt today. It's a reminder that history is more than just dates and battles. It's about the enduring cultural connections that shape who we are, even if it's just a shared love for delicious pastries and a good party.